My name is Dr. Julie Two Moon, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a naturopathic medical doctor and an acupuncturist and a Chinese medicine practitioner. And I'm also the creator of the Thriving Health Program and more recently Rooted, which is going to go live on October 30th, or excuse me, August 30th, October. And my whole passion is bringing women back into true vibrance and not having to suffer to get it. And one of the things that I really love about healing is that we get the opportunity to shift and change the whole way as we go. But did you know that the biggest hindrance to so much of what we desire in terms of change in our body is occurring between our ears? So we get so hung up on having to. There's a couple things that I see in people, and I wanted to come talk about this. We often have a belief that we have to earn it. This is one of the biggest ones. Like, I don't get to have that unless I'm being a really good girl. And I don't mean that in some sassy way. I literally mean that these are entrenched things that come from our childhood, that come forward from being a youth, that we don't get to earn it unless we are, putting in the work. So I have to prove to someone that I'm being a good girl. The other thing is that we beat ourselves up when we falter or when we fall along the healing journey. And this happens a lot of ways. Like, you're chugging along, you're making progress, you're starting to feel good, and then I don't know, your kid gets sick or a family member gets sick, your whole schedule gets thrown off, then you had vacation and you start into the like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm so off track. I'm so failing at this. And then that lasts for another 4 weeks before you start to sort of climb out. But then you're wondering, am I good enough to change it? Am I going to be accepted to change it? Like maybe you've got a practitioner helping guide you, right? And this happens. We have these lovely discussions about this with all my clients quite often, that it's like I have to earn back my right to heal. So I want to give you a bit of grace here. It's already yours. When God made your beautiful template of your unique, amazing body and spoke beautifulness into those cells, and in those cells encoded the absolute majesty for any transformation you could ever desire to enact in your body or in your life, the template for that was given to you as a gift. You don't have to earn it. It's already present. Sometimes we have to get out of the way of it. Sometimes we have to repartner with it. But you do not have to earn it. No one is going to give it to you. No one owes it to you. No one can give it to you because it's already yours. So that's the first thing. It's inherently who you are. Healing is a reclamation of who you are at your being. It is a reclamation of self. It is a reclamation of power. It is a reclamation of your greatness. It is an honoring of what's already always been true. And sometimes we have to get there by falling a bit. To remember that at the core it never changes. My inherent goodness is a guarantee. And sometimes I have to learn to unwind. Maybe I have to learn to unwind the years where I drank diet soda for 10 years. And now I have to help my body clear the damage that the aspartame did. But my body's capable of it if I am able to partner with it. Maybe I have to unwind the years of low carb eating that I did, where I thrust my body into chronic stress response and didn't know it. And now I need to help my cells learn how to use glucose again because I interrupted that mechanism inadvertently doing something that I thought was healthy. But my cells haven't forgotten. They just need help remembering, which is it's just a matter of providing information. I don't have to earn it. It's already there. This is a key distinction because we beat ourselves up for things that we think we have to earn. So we go about life and we talk so awful to ourselves. If we had to wear a loudspeaker as we walked through the world so that everyone could hear what we were saying to ourselves, can you imagine what would change? Can you imagine the difference it would be if everyone in the room, on the street, at work, could hear the kind of things that we say to ourselves in the background? The way we talk to our body when we're exhausted and we're like, this stupid body, I'm so fucking tired of this. This stupid body just won't heal. I'm so over it. Why won't it just do what I need? Can you imagine, like, if your kids had to hear you saying that to yourself? How many of us, I know I have a daughter, right? So how many of us have daughters that we'd be like, oh my God, no, I don't want her learning this template from me. But we're inadvertently acting that out by not learning how to shift it, by not learning how to heal it, by not getting help. Because the other thing is that help is the way that we rise beyond the challenge. Sometimes that help is going to come from a dream, quite honestly, or it's going to come from a moment of inspiration. But I've never met a person that achieved something beautiful in life that didn't have help along the way. Not once. They all had help. They had guides, they had teachers, they had sources of inspiration. So accepting help is actually how we honor that greatness within us, because it's another form of that partnership, that someone along the lineage has had the grace to learn something that we don't yet know, that ourselves are waiting for that bit of information. That's how we compassionately partner with ourselves, is that we take the load off of our own shoulders and say, you know what, you don't have to be the good girl that worked it all out all on your own. You actually got help, which is a sign of strength. The other things that happen are that we are so wicked to ourselves when we don't feel like we stick to the plan perfectly. I'm here to tell you that no matter what healing plan you ever take, you're never going to do it perfectly. It is impossible to do it perfectly. A lot of times when we do the actions perfectly, our mind is in the toilet, or we may be doing our mind work really, kind of in alignment with where we want to go, but our actions are faltering. Either way, there is no perfect. It's impossible. So if you've been journeying and I didn't do it perfect, so I quit, or I didn't get perfect outcomes, so I quit, the one guarantee is that if you quit, you never get there. So one thing you have to know about healing is that what's happening beneath the surface may go unseen. When you plant a seed in the ground, you can't see it doing all of its initial tasks to sprout something, but something's happening, and you don't go, after a day, you don't go, oh, that tomato seed was a dud, look, nothing's happening. So much of what happens in healing has to happen out of our awareness. We don't notice, just like we didn't notice as our cells were declining and as our organs were getting stressed, we didn't notice the decline. It didn't put up red flags until we're at least 5 or 10 years into it. When you start healing, you may not notice, and I've heard too many people, this is one of the roadblocks people put up. I will continue as long as I see immediate results. That is an absolute roadblock. You have just set up a wall that no one can help you get around. That is a wall that you created, and therefore you are the only person who can take it down. And people will say to me, well, I've probably had hundreds of women say to me, like, I tried something for 2 weeks and it didn't work, so I quit. This is a pattern that it would be lovely to look at with compassion. And first of all, love the part of you that keeps quitting, right? The part of you that goes, oh, it didn't work, I quit. Because that part of you serves a purpose, because it's providing light and shining insight onto essential parts of you that also want to speak and need healing. But the second thing is start to notice where else that happens in your life. I didn't see an immediate change, so I quit. And look at the outcomes. Just write it down. Just facts. No judgment. Please do not let that judgy person enter the room. It's just like, oh, how interesting. This happened and then I did this. This happened and then I did this. And notice that this is the way that we often prevent ourselves from being able to have the fullest experience of our life. Most of us have a very low ceiling for what good is allowed to be. We have this cap. It's like if we were having to walk through that room, we'd all be walking through like this. We'd be hunched over, because the truth is that there should be no ceiling on that concept. How good am I allowed to have it in life? Well, it should be like, well, I don't know. How high up does the sky go? That should be the answer, right? But that's not our answer. We have this inadvertent subconscious, I'm only allowed to go to here. That's it. I'm allowed to go to here. Beyond that, not allowed to get better than that. This is one of the ways we limit ourselves. And this is, again, this is the activity here. And so, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing to do right now. There's no task to do to fix that. You don't have to earn it. Again, you do not have to earn it. You do not have to earn your good in life. Your good in life is a gift that was guaranteed at your inception. But start to wonder, I wonder what would happen if I just let good flow. I wonder how good I can let myself have the experience of life. I wonder how good it can get. I wonder how good I can let myself feel. Some of you may notice you ask yourself that question, there's a almost like a pulling back in your body, like, don't ask that question. That's dangerous territory. Why? Because in a lot of life we've been told that it is bodacious to feel good, that you are pushing your boundaries, you're pushing your luck. I have had clients tell me that it was their family story, that if you celebrated anything, you were inviting disaster. So right there, there's a cap. You're not actually allowed to enjoy it. You're not allowed to feel good. You're not allowed to have joy. You're not allowed to have expansiveness because you're inviting disaster. And this is another way we set up a pattern where we create the wall. And guess what, you guys? No one can tear that wall down for you. So hence, you may go searching for help and healing, and someone may be giving you great advice. And what can happen next is that advice can't go anywhere because you have a wall that you're the only one that can tear it down. And we inadvertently stop ourselves. And then we think, this is my lot in life. I get stopped here every time. So the invitation is to start to just wonder our way out of it. I wonder if it's possible for me to feel good all the time. What would happen if I felt good all the time? Maybe some of you go, ooh, there's a consequence to that. I've had women say that to me. There's a consequence. If I feel good all the time, people can demand more of me. If I feel good all the time, people may want me to perform differently. If I feel good all the time, I don't have excuses to say no. If I feel good all the time, I'm going to have to enact boundaries, and I don't really want to do that. So not feeling good is a great boundary. If I feel good all the time, maybe my husband's going to want to have sex, and I don't know if I want to do that. That's another one. There are so many places where it's like there might be a subconscious consequence to the act of actually feeling good all the time. And we don't have to go solve those either, but you can certainly love the part of you and just sit in witness of it. God, I love the part of me that's terrified of feeling good all the time. Wow, look at her. She has been in survival mode so long that she has discovered that if we stay not feeling so good, then we can have an automatic boundary for people asking us to do things. Wow, she has risen up and protected me over and over and over. Look at her. That's one way you begin to heal that relationship. That's one way you begin to establish that change. Because healing is the cultivation of relationship within ourselves, within ourselves, within our body. It is partially the foods we eat and the nutrients we might take and the herbs we take, but I can tell you hands down, if those are done from trying to be the good girl, trying to earn it, trying to get approval, trying to make it happen, it doesn't happen. We fail at it, and or that's our perception, because I never think anyone really fails at it, but then we falter and then we don't know how to get up. And that's why part of the journey that I take women on, because I spend so much time with them, is that it's like I expect there to be falters, I expect there to be flubs, I expect there to be places where we fall down. That's part of learning how to sustain the healing. Is like, oh, cool. I'm going to celebrate when you falter. Because I know that this is the opportunity that you've been waiting for to get past some of those obstacles that have been there your whole damn life. And they just have been persistent. And now we get to work on the real stuff that has been part of keeping us stuck. It's not just our cells being exhausted. It's not just that they can't send messages. It's not just that the thyroid response doesn't work. It's that we have places that we have been part of the shutdown and we don't even realize it. And often, unfortunately, you guys, I hate to say this because, I've been in medicine a long time. There are a lot of practitioners out there who don't do any service to help heal this, because when you falter, they go, well, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you doing the plan? Why didn't you do it the way I said? I've heard that over and over the years from people who've come to see me and my clients, where the practitioner turns it around. You must not have been doing the plan. That's why it didn't work. No one's getting curious about, well, what's happening behind the scenes? What's happening when you go to eat? Why are you eating what you're eating? Is it because you think you're supposed to? I can tell you right now, your spleen doesn't know what to do with food that you're just eating because you're supposed to. You know, it's like your cells don't know how to be receptive if we're like begrudgingly like, fine, I'll eat this, fine. But you know what I really wanted was ice cream. The more curious thing is like, ooh, now that's interesting. Let's pay attention to why ice cream sounded better. Let's pay attention to what's there. What are you feeling in that moment? What's happening? That's healing. That's where we get to start to pay attention to what happens here as much as we pay attention to what happens in the rest of us. And you get to put the pieces together. So now your brain's not off having one conversation, your body's having another, your spirit's doing who knows what, your emotions are all over the map. You can't heal in that disjointedness. It has to come together. It's cohesive. You have a magical body that is the encompassment of the most magnificent parts of creation. You are indelibly magic. You are made of stardust and starlight and everything in between. So as we heal, it has to be in honor of that and doing the difficult work of standing in the places where the discord has been put and being willing to journey with it. That's an essential. And your cells are paying attention to that. And they're acting out whatever the prominent theme is. And so we have, it's that, ooh, I get to lovingly journey with these cells and maybe finally stand in some of these gapped places where I created walls and I didn't even know I was doing it. And these are some patterns I've carried forward my whole life, but all done from the premise that I am already good enough. I am worthy enough. I have been gifted this magic of creation. It's already mine. It already has all the information. I am just now sitting in the space to start to remember. And I'm going to take actions in that remembering. And the only way I fail is if I quit. If I quit. Because you're either learning or you're moving forward. That's the motto that you can use for any healing process. I'm either learning or moving forward. Sometimes in learning, it's going to suck a little. Sometimes, in moving forward, I get to feel like I get to celebrate the whole way. But in my world, we're going to celebrate the entire time. So while you're learning and you just fell down, your knees are skinned and you feel like a fool, I'm going to celebrate the heck out of that with you. As much as I'm going to celebrate when you come tell me that you're sleeping through the night and your energy is amazing and you can't believe how good you feel, because both are equally magnificent. That's healing. So hopefully I've given you some things to think about, because these are things that I spend my world thinking about, pondering, and exploring in different nuanced ways. And this is healing. This is healing. This is the magic and the magnificence. I wish you all beautiful blessings. I hope you have a gorgeous day. Hi, Rhonda. I love seeing you here. And if you I would love to hear your comments on this. So if you want to comment on the video, I'd love to see that, even after in the recording. It's so fun to see you here. And be kind to you, because you're worth it. Blessings, guys.